Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Brittany and today is Sunday, the day before Memorial Day, but we're cooking today. So I'm going to show you start to finish the whole routine of everything I'm cooking, how I'm cooking it, what I'm using, everything. So it may be a long video, I do apologize for that, but I just thought I'd take you along with me today since I'm going to be spending the whole day cooking as it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I already have my meat washed, as you can see here in the sink. I'm then going to remove the membrane and cut off any extra fat that I don't want. And this is about 5.5 pounds of pork spare ribs, so we are going to cook it at 300 for around 2.5 to 3 hours. And right now what I'm trying to do is get underneath in between the bones so I can remove the skin membrane. Alright, so I got it all removed and it did come off in pieces just because of the way they're made in the back, and I couldn't get it all off. But it's just this very thin layer that's on the back side of your ribs. You always want to make sure you remove it. To me, and when you don't remove it, it makes it a little tougher than usual. So I have these all washed. And I have my pan here. I have a bacon pan. Then I have the full pan that I showed you guys with my rack on it, so that way they can cook better. And washing your meat, you guys, is optional. I know a lot of people that do not, but I was raised by my grandmother who believes everything should be washed. If there was a way to wash ground beef, she would wash it. So, okay, so like I was saying, I'm using a recipe I found online. You have to know my background. I just did some dishes, and I didn't want to take this far from the sink. So their recipe is to use whatever seasonings you like, but to use brown sugar, yellow mustard, or Dijon mustard, and some liquid smoke. So I have all that on hand, so I'm going to try that. Okay, so to my little bowl here, I'm going to add some regular mustard. And this is just the classic yellow. Hers in the recipe was 3 to 4 pounds. So I'm going to add a little more than what she did. She added just like 2 tablespoons. I think I have about 3 there. And she added 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke. If you guys have never used this is perfect when you're baking ribs or baking any kind of meat that you want to have that smoky flavor. And it's supposed to be all natural, so it's really good. So it's not like a, you know, artificial flavor or anything like that. I'm also going to add all my seasonings to this bowl. So the first thing I'm going to add is some Tony's. And I'm probably going to add about a tablespoon of that, maybe a little more. Probably about 2 tablespoons. I'm also going to see if I can get this out the way so you guys can see. So mustard, liquid smoke, Tony's. I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add some Body Complete. Probably about a tablespoon is that as well. Like I said, this is enough to go over the whole thing. I don't season both sides of mine. I just never really did it, and it always comes out really good seasoned. And I'm also going to use some of the Weber roasted garlic and herb. I cannot speak today, and my allergies are all messing up, so if I sound horrible, I do apologize. And I'm going to stir that around and see if it looks like I need to add anything else. And this is what it looks like. I think I'm going to add this to it, and then if I need to make more, I can, but I think that's enough. So they recommended on the post to put this down first. I'm probably going to have to make some more. I'd rather make more than have too much and have nothing to use it for, you know, later on. Okay, so I'm just going to spread it. And I'm, like I said, I'm following this recipe exactly like it is online, so I will leave that in the description box. So if you guys would like to check it out, and before I post the video, I will also let you guys know how we like it. We've never had it with mustard or anything on it, so this would be a first for us. But I liked it that she said you can, it turns out perfect no matter what seasonings you use. So she definitely, or I think it's a woman. I keep saying she, but I just, you know, it's just a thing. But so she put on there that you can put any seasonings and stuff that you would like. I do think I'm going to put a little bit more, make another little batch of it. That way we can get it all spread. Okay, so I got that well coated. So I am cooking it exactly how she says as well on the post, on the recipe blog. So the only thing I'm doing differently is I'm going to let this sit for a few hours because it's still morning time now. So I'm going to let this sit for a few hours so that way the seasonings can just sit and get more incorporated into the meat. And that's just something I do with any meat that I cook. I always, especially if I'm going to cook it for a long time or if I'm going to cook for more people, I like to make sure I get it, you know, well incorporated into the meat, the seasonings and stuff, so it tastes better. Sorry guys, my sinuses are so bad. So the next thing she said to do with this is to add some brown sugar, and that's going to balance out that liquid smoke, and it's going to balance out any super spicy seasoning you put, as well as that mustard. And you don't have to use a lot of this, just put a little bit. Okay, so since I'm going to let this sit for a little while, just in case I forget, I am going to go ahead and tell you guys what the next step is if you were to go straight into cooking. So she said to put the broiler on your oven on high and set this underneath it for about 5 minutes. That will get the brown sugar here melted and caramelized. And then she said put it at 300 for 2.5 to... Okay, so the ribs have been cooking for 1 hour and 21 minutes. I have 9 minutes left to go before I wrap them in foil and let them cook for about another hour to hour and a half. So I wanted to go ahead and get started on a few of the side dishes just to have it somewhat ready. So I'm going to go ahead and brown this little bit over a pound of ground beef that I showed you guys I bought earlier. And about 3/4 of it is going to go into some dirty rice mix, and I always buy the Tony's the Tony's kind. I do know how to make my own homemade, but again, like I told you guys, I'm trying to make this super easy and simple to make, and I thought using the box stuff would be the easiest, as well as using full pans for everything. So the other 1/4 of a pound of it is going to go into my Bush's baked beans, and I have the new honey sweet kind here. So I'm going to pour these into a foil baking pan. Let's see if you guys can see. And I bake these in the oven once the hamburger meat's done, and I put about 1/4 of a pound of hamburger meat. I do 1/2 pound if I'm doing more than one container, and you know, and so forth. If I do 3 containers, I do it like that. This is something I never thought I would like, is beans with the hamburger meat in it, But my husband's mom, that's how she makes it, and he likes it, and being around them, that's eventually how I grew to like it as well. So other than putting the hamburger meat in it, I still do it my way, which is putting a little bit of some yellow mustard in there. I don't use Dijon or anything like that, just the plain yellow mustard. I would say about 1.5 tablespoons. And I also add in some syrup. That one wasn't even open yet. So I was thinking, because it's something I always did, but it makes me wonder, does other people think about it? But you know, you buy full pans and they're just open, like everybody touched it, you know, like how many people touch your full pan that you bought before you, type of thing. So I always wash them out and dry them off. It's something I've always thought about. How are they really sanitary? But then again, can't be that bad. I mean, everybody cooks with a full pan, right? So, I don't know. I just wanted to know if you guys thought the same thing. So if you're watching this video later and you thought about it, or you clean it out like I do, just comment. Don't make me feel weird. I'm just going to clean this up. And I also have some leftover onion that I want to use up. So once this is browned and I get the part out for the beans, I'll add in the onions to add to the dirty rice mix. And this usually takes 3 to 5 minutes, just depending. Alright, so I already have it drained. And I've also put 1 tablespoon of butter into the beans. And I'm just going to scoop about 3 or 4 spoons over it. And this leaves me with about 3/4 of the pound of hamburger meat that was left. I don't measure it, I just eyeball it. And my ribs just went off for the 1.5 hours. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take them out the oven, put foil on them, let them cook for another hour, and then for the last 30 minutes of cooking, I am going to add in the sausage and cook my rice side. And I'm also going to cook some sweet potatoes that I have that are frozen. So let me see how long that takes and see when I need to put that in. So this is the sweet potato casserole that I'm going to cook. It takes about 1 hour and 15 minutes at 350, but I'm cooking the ribs at 300, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them in now. So about 1.5 hours, they'll be completely cooked through. They are already cooked. It just needs to be completely heated through, and you have to cook it from frozen. You can't defrost it, is what it says. I'm sure it won't hurt, but I just like to follow the directions on this. So let me take the ribs out and I'll show you guys what they look like 1.5 hours in. Alright, you guys, so this is what it looks like out of the oven after 1.5 hours. You can already tell the meat's sort of coming apart from the meat, but of course it's not done yet. I do have a lot of thick parts up and around here, but I did recommend to wrap it in foil so it won't dry out. As you can tell, it's still got a lot of juice and flavor up around it. So that's what I'm going to do. And it said to put your first layer of barbecue sauce on it. I was going to use the Signature Select Sweet and Tangy Bourbon. Y'all, I'm so glad I tasted it. I always tasted it before, but I'm so glad I tasted it before putting it on here. This tastes so much like bourbon. It is horrible. I mean, it is like bourbon with, I don't even know how to explain it, but it don't taste like barbecue sauce. It tastes like bourbon and lemon and ketchup. That's what it tastes like. Bourbon, lemon, and ketchup. You can taste the tangy, and the ketchup is like the little tomato paste, but it's straight bourbon, y'all. Don't get that. I only got it because it was on clearance. Now I see why nobody got it. That is, it was bad. I mean, if you like the bourbon taste and you like You want your ribs to taste like bourbon? Go ahead. I'm telling you, that is it. And it's cheaper than buying anything expensive. But, oh, Lord. I don't even think I would let if I had kids, I don't think I would let my kids eat it. I mean, it tastes like they made like a gallon of it and put like 4 bottles of bourbon into that 1 gallon. Like, it's horrible. I don't know how else to explain it to you guys, but it's bad. So anyways, I'm going to use the original Bullseye barbecue sauce. I'm going to repeat, don't try don't try the bourbon kind. It's so bad. I'm not really like a person who likes to drink. And if I do, it definitely isn't bourbon. But if you like bourbon, you will love that. So I feel like the seasoning and stuff is like coming off of the meat as I'm like stirring it, so I'm trying to do it lightly. And I don't like mine like super barbecue-y. We sort of like putting it on like while we're eating. So this might be the only layer, which is why I'm probably going on a little thick. I'm the type of person that can eat like ribs and things like that just like seasoned really well, and that's it. Like, it don't need any sauce. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap this in foil and put it back in the oven for about an hour. I'm going to go heavy on it, on the foil, so that way it won't take all the sauce off, but it's okay. We got more. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys what this looks like out the box. So it just has the brown sugar and pecans on top, and then your sweet potatoes are at the bottom. Stick it in the oven for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, and it comes out perfect. I've never had the top burn or anything. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start my dirty rice. I already showed you guys which one I was using. It was the box Tony's Creole one. So I put in the onion, the 3/4 pound of ground beef, and the box kit, and 2 cups of water. Followed it exactly how it says on the directions. The only other thing I do is it always says to add, well, it don't says to add, but it says you can add green onions to it when it's done. But my green onions are frozen, so I'm going to add them in while they're cooking because I don't think they'll be good to add it into the top once it's cooked. So that's the only thing I do different almost every time, because I always have frozen green onions on hand. Anytime I buy them, I just go ahead and buy a big old bunch, use what I need it for, and then freeze the rest. And they work really well if you're making like gumbo, etouffee, you know, anything you're cooking. Add you some green onions and bell peppers and things like that. If I had some bell peppers, I would definitely throw those in there as well, just to give it like its own little homemade type taste, like you cooked it, but it's from a box. So once this comes to a boil, it will cook for about 20 to 25 minutes, and the ribs have about 40 minutes left. This will be going in a pot, in a foil pan as well, so that way I can get the dishes and everything washed. I'm trying to have all that done before we eat. Okay, so I put my sausage in with my ribs. I've also cut my temperature up on my ribs just a little bit to 375 for about 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to add in my rolls. As far as the rolls, I use the Easy Bake Bridgeford ready dough. It's supposed to come in a loaf. It come with 3 loaves. I only had 1 left. But on the back of it, it told me that I could cut the loaf into 12 pieces and bake like homemade rolls. So they have been rising for the last 2 to 3 hours. And I'm going to put them in about 10 minutes, and they cook for 15 to 20 minutes. And we're going to see how it turns out doing it like that. I've ate it both times with the loaf, and they were really good. So I don't see why these wouldn't, you know, turn out really well. To me, they rise more while they're cooking versus unthawing and rising. But I'll let you guys see that when they're done as well. So since my dirty rice is done, all the liquid is gone, I'm going to pour this into the other full pan that I was telling you guys about. That way I can go ahead and get this dish washed up. And when I put in my rolls, I will also put in my baked beans as well so they can get heated through. Everything is cooked. They just need to be warmed through, as well as the sweet potatoes are already looking good. They've been in there about 45 minutes. So we'll just have that. And then this is going to stay warm. I'm going to put a cover over it and put it in the microwave. And then if it needs to be heated through, I can also toss this in the oven for a few minutes as well. Alright, you guys, so everything is done. I have our ribs, the sausage, the sweet potato yams, the dirty rice, the baked beans, and the rolls. And for dessert, I didn't feel like cooking anything else. So if you watched my grocery haul, you know that I picked up these vanilla and chocolate cupcakes. So that's what we're having if we want a dessert. But I don't know, this is a lot of food, but this is everything we got laid out. When we fix our plates, I'll show you guys what they look like. And yeah, so I hope you guys all had a great Memorial Day. And, you know, you cooked for your family, or y'all went out or did whatever. You just spent time with family and just had a good day, because that's what we're about to do. This smells really good in my house, but I don't feel like cooking for like the next 2 or 3 days. So definitely leftovers for the next at least day or two. Like I said, I have things coming up this week, so won't be cooking that much, but I really enjoyed this today, and this has been all day cooking. My house is hot. My stove is ready to cool off. It's been going for like 5 hours, and I'm ready to eat because I haven't eaten nothing all day. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching and spending your Memorial Day with me. If you watch later on, really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it, you know, to have more subscribers and share you guys, you know, more recipes and everything. But this is our feast.